Welcome to boardshop.co.uk, surfboard comparison time, a pair of Twinzers, the new TJ Twinzer from Firewire, and of course our beloved FM. Now, if you're approaching middle age, as I said, like me, you'll be starting to look at mid-lengths, and these two are two of the absolute winners out there. With the Twinzer setup, we had lots and lots of questions. What's the difference? Which one should I get? Which one's better? Well, we're going to have a little look into it, and we're going to look at paddle power, duck dive ability, glide, how they turn, and the overall satisfaction level. So, first of all, the TJ Twinzer, all new from Firewire, in the helium epoxy setup. So this construction is tough, it's light, it's very responsive, and it comes with this bespoke set of Stu Kenson Twinzers. What we find about this board is it paddles really well, it's got lots of glide, it's got lots of flow, and it's a real pleasure to surf. Slightly different to the FM in that it's got a more pinny kind of tail, and these fins are a little bit more upright, and it doesn't have the kind of the beveled hull that the FM has, or the channel. So the FM, just to highlight those differences, as you can see, the rail pulls in from top and bottom, so you get a more responsive feel, and it's got this channel running through the bottom of the hull, and then the bespoke Triumph's Twinzers. So they both paddle really well, as you would expect from this kind of board. Lots of surface area on the bottom, the volume where you need it, early wave entry. From that point of view, they're all good. Now, as you take off into the wave, this is the first point of difference. It feels like with the FM, it's a gradual process to get on the rail. The beveled bottom here makes it a nice gradual kind of smooth transitioning to your turn. The TJ Twinzer doesn't have that, so it's a more snappy kind of feel, almost a bit more of a shortboardy kind of feel. So if you're coming from a shortboard and you still want to get on that rail performance, then maybe the TJ Twinzer from Firewire is going to be a better bet from you. But for everyone else, for normal people, this beveled bottom and the pulled in rail is a more gradual, more pleasing kind of process into your turn. As with all Twinzer setups like these and on the TJ Twinzer, you can push super hard on these fins on your turn, and the board just grips and then pings you out from your turn. Now, there is a different feel between the two again, in that the epoxy has a more of a kind of responsive feel, in that it probably gives you a little bit more speed out of the turns. But the FM is more than adequate and still very pleasurable and very performancey to surf. It's just that that's the difference between the feeling between the PU and the epoxy. In terms of glide, they both glide really well. The FM's got slightly less rocker up front, so it just carries that glide a little bit more easily and a little bit more smoothly. And I think the biggest difference we found, we've just surfed this today, I've surfed this, Charlie surfed that, and what we found was that in the slightly choppy conditions, with a bit of wind on the face of the wave, the PU FM cuts through a little bit more cleanly. You do feel with epoxy boards when you get up to this size that they get pushed around a tiny bit because they sit a little bit higher in the water. Now, this is a very subjective thing. This is how we felt. We swapped boards, we tried them both. But you definitely feel that you're a little bit higher in the water, so you get pushed around a little bit more. If you're a better surfer, that's not really a problem because you can still engage the rail and get the thing moving. If you're a lower level or average surfer or more occasional surfer, then it's harder to come to terms with that. So they're both good boards. I'd surf either one of them happily. I'd have either one of them happily. I actually have. And the difference is, as we just to recap, the fundamental difference is the difference between the feeling of epoxy and the feeling of PU. PU seems to cut into choppy conditions a little bit more easily. The design features on the FM, the beveled bottom, the channel, make you're pushing into your turns more gradual and a bit easier and more pleasing, whereas the TJ Twinzer's got a little bit more of a shortboard feel. You can definitely push the TJ a little bit harder, mainly because of the upright feel, I think. But they're both winners and they both get 10 out of 10.